gang, we in this thing. Make sure I hit that subscribe button to be a part of the crew. Smash that like button to see what it do. Okay, so as we see with this whole thing that's going on, we've established like at least, I want to say we established like 2 different classes. So there's like the super rich, and then there's basically homeless. There's not really a middle class, because a lot of the people that's in middle class, like y'all are basically at the bottom as well, because you're just working to try and make ends meet. So moving forward into the future, it's going to be a situation to where you're going to be working, but you're going to be working making the bare minimum, because your rent is going to be sky high, because a lot of the apartments that are out here now are going to be torn down, rebuilt into something more modern and something that costs more. So that's why I said moving forward in the future, it's not really going to be a middle class anymore. It's either going to be you're up there in terms of pay rate, or in terms of class system, like you're rich, or you're at the bottom scavenging. So it's going to be like super rich and then like scavengers. And we already see this now with what's going on, to where the class system has gotten kind of taken away in terms of middle class. Like there is no middle class. And moving forward, it's going to be like that, to where there's not going to really be a middle class. Either going to be super rich, or you're at the bottom scavenging. And I say that because a lot of these businesses are going to end up going out of business, because there's going to be so many rules implemented and put in place. There's going to be so many rules implemented and put in place to where a lot of businesses aren't going to be able to run. So it's going to be rule, especially with us, because anytime we bring something new into society, there's always going to be new rules that comes with it. So depending on whatever technology that we bring into society, there's going to be new rules with it. So say for instance, if we was to bring robots into certain stores, so instead of like, say for instance, instead of Walmart, instead of them having workers, now they have robots there. So in order for a lot of these other businesses, even small businesses, in order for them to keep up, new rule is going to be, okay, you can't have employees, you got to have robots. And as we know, for a lot of these small businesses, a lot of them had to apply for loans and things like that from the government in order for them to be able to stay established throughout what's going on now. So that's why I said it's going to be new rules established. So a lot of these businesses aren't going to be able to flourish, which leaves it to where it's more of a monopoly, to where certain businesses like Amazon is going to be the only place for you to work. So despite you getting all your degrees, like lawyer and all this other shit, it's going to come down to you having to work at a warehouse. You're either going to work at Amazon, which is going to be everywhere, or you either going to work at some other type of warehouse. Building all these technological robots. And it's going to be one of those things to where if you mess up just one time or something like that, you're going to lose your job. And that's why I said moving forward, we're going to establish the social credit score. That's another thing that's coming into place. So you're going to see a lot of stores now to where they're going to be implementing point systems, or restaurants where they're going to be implementing a point system, which is going to be called rewards right now. So depending on how much you spend and shit like that, you'll get a certain amount of rewards, which we already see this with like airlines and things like that. But moving forward into the future, we're going to see it to where it's going to matter more. So depending on, like, say for instance, if you go to freaking Taco Bell or something like that, you get 100 points. That's going to be added to your social credit score. And that's why I said certain things is going to be taken away from your credit score. Say, for instance, if you freaking go to Taco Bell, but you throw your trash away in the wrong trash bin, that's going to get points taken away from your societal credit score. And if your score is too low, it's going to be a point to where you're now no longer a part of society. So moving forward in the future, it's going to be a point to where being homeless is actually going to be a thing to where you could get arrested for. Because we're no longer going to have like all the commodities and amenities that we have now with certain businesses being here, like say for instance like hotels and stuff like that. That's no longer gonna be a thing. Like it's gonna be a thing to where you either sleep inside this new powered car to where it has a bed in the back to where the bed helps you to charge up and some shit and you hook up to it, because we already see this with the new model of Tesla that's coming out, to where it's like a car, but at the same time you're able to live inside the car. So we're gonna have cars like that. And that's why I said it's going to be a point to where people are going to have to form their own society, because not everybody's going to be able to afford those things based upon their social credit score. You know, you're going to have a certain type of social credit score for you to even obtain these type of vehicles. So it's good to, like, before it gets to that, it's good to get these type of vehicles now, because a lot of vehicles are no longer going to be gas powered. Like, we're no longer going to have gas powered vehicles. They're either going to be eco-powered like how they have now, or we're literally gonna have points to where we're like flying around type shit. And this is all about like 2050, but the way that we're moving and advancing so fast is going to be way before 2050, like 2040, 2045-ish type time frame. We're going to have this coming into play. And the reason why I say it's no longer going to be a thing to where we have homeless people, because we already see them coming up with, you know, certain ways to where they're trying to figure things out with where to put people who are homeless. Now moving forward is going to be a thing to where if you're homeless, you're going to be going against some law. Like it's going to be a law to where you can't sleep on the street. It's going to be a law to where you have to be inside by a certain time. And if you are inside by a certain time, then that'll add to your that'll add to your social credit score. If you're not in by that time, then it's going to take points off your social credit score. Like everything is going to be based upon your social credit score, because everything is going to be technologically advanced, or we're going to be so infused with technology like everywhere. Like say for instance you're at a bus stop, like that's going to be some form of technology. It's going to count all the people that's there. It's going to count, you know, what it's going to know what destination you're going to, what time you should be back, you know, stuff like that. Like we already have that in terms of the apps, but it's going to get more advanced. It's going to get more into like a 1984 type of society to where everything is kept track of. So yeah, just get ready for that. And that's why I said it's going to be a point to where there's not going to be people that are going to want to keep up with this in terms of like society. So they're going to want something else in terms of their freedom. And the only way to do that is by separating yourself from the technological society. So there's going to be this like technological society, I don't know what to call it, whatever they want to call it, and then there's going to be the slums. And that's basically what it's going to be, is the slums is where the people who do not want to be a part of this society will be able to go and live, but you're not going to live the way that you would expect. You know, it's going to be things to where you might have to actually sleep outside, or you might have to make like a little hut or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a couple sticks together and create your little house. So this is why we have shows like, pay attention to shows like Naked and Afraid, or like all these little survival shows is good to watch now, because moving forward, that's what we're going to be dealing with. Shit, it might be like Naked and Afraid to where your ass might not have clothes. The only clothes that you have is what you leave out with, or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, a lot of these apartment buildings and things moving forward into the future are going to be torn down. Like a lot of, there's no longer going to be a Section 8. You know what I'm saying? You're no longer going to have that. To where your rent is low as shit. Because a lot of times what we see with like Section 8 and things like that, it ends up getting fucked up anyway, based upon the people that are there, because they don't take care of it enough. And these Masons see that, the fact of, okay, whatever it is that we built in the programs that we implemented, people don't care for it as much. So that's why they're going to end up taking away a lot of these programs. That's why it's good now. A lot of people have been saying like, right now is the time for you to like invest, and for you to like start getting certain things in terms of with the money that they're giving out and shit like that. Because moving forward, this is kind of like a jump start for you. So moving forward into the future, they'll probably still filter money out, but we're going to see a lot of people who, where this money got filtered out to them, they didn't use it properly, to where they end up in fucked up situations, to where they don't have no house, they don't have no home, they don't have no car. So regardless, they have to go to the slums. And I don't know what to call the other one. I guess it's going to be like a little utopia. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's like technology is going to be like a little utopia type of shit. And then it's going to be the people who aren't with this whole technology type of thing. And we all going to be in the slums type shit. Because there's video games to where it depicts this, like freaking The Division. There's another game on PC called Scum. Fallout, that's another one. And I forget, there's like a whole bunch of video games that's pertaining to like what's about to go on moving forward. So it's one of those things to where you can't really do anything besides just prepare yourself mentally, prepare your kids, just get prepared, because moving into the future, a lot of things is going to change. Even with schools, with kids going to school, it's going to be one of those situations to where you're going to have to actually teach your child things if you choose not to be a part of this society, because in order for them to go to school, they probably going to have to like scan in with like a chip on their hand, and not everybody's going to want their kids to get this chip or whatever. It's going to be situations to where in order for them to go to lunch, you know how you put in like your little pen for lunch and shit like that, you're not going to do that. You just go and scan up and then you get your lunch. So, and a lot of the kids, they know it's going to be okay with it because the parents aren't teaching them what all of this really means. So a lot of kids is going to be like, oh, well, this is why they got kids so hooked on video games and shit like that. Because moving forward into the future, is going to be things to where you're going to have things implanted into you in order for you to participate or play these video games. And we're going to see a lot of kids to where they're going to want to go and get that in order for them to play their favorite games. This is why they do test runs. Like, say, for instance, they had all those times to where you would stand outside a GameStop for a video game for like a midnight release. This was them basically testing on a spiritual level how committed you are to this type of technology, to these games. We've seen instances to where, like, in different countries like China and shit like that, to where they'll play a video game for so long that the person will die. Like, the person won't even go and eat or nothing like that. They'll be so locked into playing a video game. They'll even have marathons and shit like that. So this is them testing you on a spiritual level to see how committed you are to this technology, how far you'll go. And we've shown that we will go the furthest extent in order for us to participate or play these games. And by them seeing that tells them, like, okay, we got to keep advancing it, because they're going to want more. And the more that we give them, the more that they're going to end up destroying themselves. And then this is also a form of depopulation, to where they don't have to sit back and be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to send a robot to everybody's house to pick your ass up or some shit like that, because you already going to be in that mind state to where, oh, okay, in order for me to play this, I got to go get chips, or I got to go get a chip in my brain. And then best believe, not everything is going to work. So whenever it comes to you getting chipped and shit like that, some of them is going to be prototype. Some of them might malfunction. You know what I'm saying? So this is like you basically selling your body in order for you to get this newest technology is what's going to start happening soon into the future. Because not everything, whenever it comes to technology, we see it, some of it shuts down, some of it goes down. Like, even with apps and shit like that. So what happens whenever you're going to get this chip inside your brain and then, oh shit, it's malfunctioning. Now it done sent a sensor to your brain to, like, the left side of your face is like fucking, you suffer from a stroke or something like that because the chip has malfunctioned. So these are things that we're going to have to look forward to. Not we, because I ain't looking forward to that. I ain't doing that. But these are things that some of y'all going to have to look forward to in terms of technology, whenever it comes to you fusing with technology and making these choices to play these games or to go to work, in order for, it's going to be certain incentives, like how you see now, to where you get a $500 bonus. Like, certain companies will be like $500 bonus if you work this amount of hours. Okay, well, it's going to be certain companies to where it's going to be like $500 bonus if you work this certain amount of hours and you try this new technology while working, you know, like that type of shit. And best believe there's gonna be people that sign up, because we already seen it with what's going on now, to where in order for them to test on you with this whole shot and shit like that, they was paying people out. So this already shows them, like, a lot of people are willing to compromise their body, their health, their spirituality in order for them to get a certain amount of money. But anyways, that's it for this video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.